What you know about me? I seen it all, heard it all. Oh, what you know about me? I done it all, just want it all. Oh, what you know about me? I seen it all, heard it all. Oh, what you know about me? Oh, what you know about me? Oh, what you know about me?
My favorite day of the week, y'all. Y'all know what it is, y'all. Welcome to More Than the Title, episode 170. I'm your host, as usual, Jarrett, Chief Revenue Officer at Outside the Box Digital. And you know I got my brother, my brethren, your favorite CEO, Chadeo. What's good, baby? Ready to pod?
Man, I'm excited, man, because you know what? It's motherfucking December, homie. It's December, homie, and we almost at that 100th episode for the year. They said it couldn't be done. They said, how can these two brothers do 100 episodes in a year? And we said, we going to do it. And we on track to do it. So you know what it is, ladies and gentlemen. We excited. It's pod day.
It's pod day, baby. How we going to start it off? You know how we got to start it off.
You know how we started off. G&T, ladies and gentlemen, always grateful and thankful for the first-time listeners.
Absolutely.
The G is for the grateful, right? We are grateful that we got a chance to wake up again this morning. Grateful that we got a chance to pod, to tell the people that we love and cherish how we truly feel about them, right? Because we can't take nothing for granted. And thankful for all our new listeners, thankful for all our returning listeners, for everybody that has helped support us to get us to the point that we are right now and continue to support us. We're thankful for you guys, because without you guys, there can't be no us. G&T, grateful and thankful always.
Message.
You know how we do, man. Before we introduce this brother, we got a great episode lined up for y'all. As usual, man, shout out to our distribution partners, the first woman-owned, black-owned podcast network in the world and the largest black-owned podcast network in the world. Shout out to Alive. If you want more content like More Than the Title, make sure y'all scan the QR code, download the app. Half of your subscription goes to the content creators of your choice, y'all. So it's not too many platforms giving it up like that. It's not too many platforms putting it on for the black voice. So make sure y'all support and make it happen. You dig?
I like that.
And we here. I'm ready to pod.
Let's start the show.
Pod, man. So we're going to give you some context. First of all, we met this brother at an amazing event in Black Week, right? So we met him and we met Philanese Floyd, and we had these brothers on, man. We just knew immediately. He was like, just off the vibe alone, man, we got to get you on the show. A month later, we are here making it happen, and we're going to give you the proper introduction you deserve, my brother. So let's make it happen. You know what I'm saying? So first of all, you know, for first-time listeners, More Than the Title is a podcast where we go beyond the surface. We talk about the real journey and insights and strategies, and we talk with some of the most impactful business leaders in the world. And today we have a truly remarkable guest. His brother is a celebrated author, engaging speaker, an award-winning marketer, executive with over 2 decades of experience leading some of the nation's leading advertising and marketing agencies. He's also the founder and president of Tru Access, a consultancy dedicated to bridging divides and inspiring meaningful connection. He also formerly served as the Chief Impact Officer for the Minnesota Timberwolves. He also authored 2 powerful books, Millennials Revealed and We Could All Be Bridge Builders, which become a central guide to fostering inclusion and understanding across the industry. And also has another initiative that's groundbreaking with the Barbershop Rap Sessions, which is strategies for building impactful leadership, and his work with brands like Nike, Hennessy, and some of the major sports leagues. So you've seen him at Black Week, y'all. Y'all seen him with the TEDx. You've seen him in them boardrooms. And now for the first time, he's on More Than the Title. Let's introduce our brother, Mr. Tru Pettigrew, y'all.
Fellas.
Come on, man. You read that off like,
that was like a mini autobiography right there, baby.
I listened to him talk, right? And I'm like, yo, I need to meet that guy.
The brother's the real, man.
I love it, man.
The interesting thing, we know what he's doing out here, man. But welcome to the show, brothers. It's an honor and a pleasure, for real.
No, thank you, man. It was a pleasure meeting you brothers at Black Week, man. And like you just said, man, when we first met, and you have these moments in life, right? When it's just like, okay, that's fam. You know, a lot of times, man, you know, you got to keep your radar up. You know what I'm saying? You got to be like, okay, let me feel the vibe. Let me feel this out for a minute, man. But it was instant connection with y'all, man. Really felt y'all energy, man. And the same is, I'm feeling that same energy now, man. So y'all consistent in who you are and how you show up. So appreciate y'all.
That's love, bro. Really appreciate you, man.
Message.
I'm gonna give you one too.
I wasn't letting that go by without a message. You know, before we start, I just want to say thank you to you too. When we talk about being grateful, man, we meet a lot of people. Like, let's be clear, we meet a lot of people, and a lot of people ask to come on the show. And because they don't have the right energy, we tell them, nah, you know, we'll you know, look at it another time, right? We appreciate you for being a man of your word, right? Because we're a man of our word and we like to lead by example. You understand? If we say we're going to do something, then we do it. If we say we're not going to do something or we're going to revisit it, then we do just that. So when we met you, the energy that you gave us, the conversation, you agreed to come on the show right then and there, like you said, and you know, you kept the communication open, and we appreciate that just for you being a man of your word, because it's not too many people where their word is bond anymore. You know what I'm saying? So we appreciate that.
And it almost feel like that's out of style, bro.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Talk about it, man. But that's the thing, man. We got to do, and that's what one thing I give on Black Week, man. It was no stush vibes or nothing like that, bro. It was a lot of collaboration. It was a lot of talk. It was like that with everybody, bro. I know you was in that room, the premiere room with us.
Yeah, I was in. Yeah, I was in there. Yeah,
that first night in the premiere room, bro. We just looked around and saw a bunch of Black excellence, everybody doing their thing. And like we challenged a lot of brothers and sisters in there. I said, this is cool, but make sure y'all keep this shit going. What is the conversation going to be like in January?
Right.
February, March. Don't forget about it. Yeah, don't forget about us.
And let me add to that. He also challenged them to say, when we do this event next year and we see you again next year, because we will be back next year, we're not going to have the same conversation. If we do have the same conversation, then that's a different conversation of why has nothing moved in a year's time. Because you understand? So
that's real.
Yeah. I always challenge people to say, okay, so what's the action steps? I mean, goals, I love goals. Goals are dope. Goals are cool. But they hear, like, you need what's your action steps, right, to achieve those goals? And you have goals, but if you don't map out some action, some steps you're going to take to make those goals a reality, then you're going to look up next year and you're going to have the same goals.
Come on.
I love that though. You know, when we was having the conversations that we were having, one of the great things that I appreciated about the energy in the room was people were asking, like, well, how can we help each other? How can we work? See, when you ask that question of how can we work together? How can I help you? You know, what can we do to you know, grow together? Then it's easier to implement these action steps because both parties are willing participants right off the bat.
No, absolutely, man. Yeah, and I felt that same vibe at Black Week, man. And I know y'all know Joe. Joe's my brother. I mean, I think y'all know the story, like me and Joe's related, man. Me and Joe came up in the game together, man.
Nah, tell a story. Here we go. Hold on. But if it's story time, cuz you know, if it's story time,
you know what time it is.
We like story time, you know what I'm saying? Look, Tru, if it's story time, you get a little dendo.
It is. So Joe had his agency. We were young, man. We were young in the game, right? We were both young in the game. Joe had his agency and I had my agency. And we were both Black owned and operated agencies. So that was already a challenge and a struggle within itself, right? And I think we were among the first that I know of that really had penetrated the market in a way where we were getting a lot of those, what they called at the time, general market dollars, right? I don't know if you know what I mean when I say that, like general market, because most of us, we were relegated to the it's DEI now, it was multicultural then, right? Yeah. So we were relegated to the multicultural dollars. If they were trying to reach a Black audience or maybe even a Hispanic audience, you know, they would call us, they would bring us in. And so I'm among the first, right, to really start getting some of that general market money. And so when we would show up at these pitches, it was always me, like the way they used to do these new business pitches back in the day, they would have it at some fancy hotel, and then they have the other agencies kind of waiting in the lobby area, and so you see them on your way into the boardroom to pitch. And bro, I tell you, me and Joe would always see each other at the same pitches. And so we became it was healthy competition. We became rivals early on, man. But then that rivalry turned into a brotherhood, man. And we've been brothers ever since, man. Ever since. So anything he needs, he already knows. It's just like, man, just put that phone call out, man, and I'm there. And I know the same with him. So yeah,
get out of horn, man.
Yeah.
In his days of launching Hero and a lot of the things that I was doing when I was launching Tru Access, when I walked away from the agency world, man, we've been there for each other. And that's stuff a lot of people don't know, right? Because a lot of people know me, a lot of people know Joe, but I don't think they know how much we really, really support each other, man, behind the scenes.
That's right. You know, I got plenty of questions after that, bro. First question: how were you able to penetrate the general market, right? Because you talking about that AOR money. You talking about the agency of record. For those listening, you know, most times, like Tru said, would be delegated to a multicultural. Like, say they want the black audience as McDonald's, they got a certain budget allocated for this, and that's the dollars they're going to go to for the black agencies because we know that audience and demographic. What he's going after is everybody: Kansas, Kentucky, everybody. You're doing the nationwide campaigns, right? So it's a different ball game. And us as black owners of agencies weren't getting those opportunities. So how did you penetrate that, bro?
No, man, what helped me, quite honestly, is when I was in the agency world early on, I was working at Arnold Worldwide, right?
Yep.
And when I decided to spin off and start doing my own thing, I had some partners in. Two of my partners were white guys, real cool white guys. But Arnold, the CEO of Arnold at the time, and the president of Arnold at the time, I'll never forget, Fran Kelly and Ed Eskandarian. Man, they were willing to become one of my first clients, man, and extend that support to me because that's the type of relationship that we had. But that comes from, man, adding value, bro. Like when you add value, you're almost undeniable, man. Like even cats want to deny you. When you add value and really do the thing that you are supposed to be doing, I tell people all the time, man, when you're doing what you are supposed to be doing with the gifts and talents that you have, bro, you can't be stopped. And it's not that people who ain't going to try to stop you, but you can't be stopped. And there's too many of us trying to operate outside of our gifts and outside of our talents and do like, I see what y'all doing, right? And I'm like, oh, yo, they can do that. I can do that. Nah, I can't do that because I don't have your gifts. I don't have your talents. But I know what areas where I'm gifted, and I know what I'm good at, and I do that, and I do it well, right? And I would challenge: there's nobody out there that does what I do better than I can do it.
Bro, going on.
He partying. He partying right now, bro. He partying right now. You know what I'm saying? I love it.
And so that's how I was able to tap into some of that general market, that general market money.
But when you say value, bro, let's break it down because value could be subjective, right? And I think like that's like for our community, our culture, when somebody says like I'm bringing value, what does that necessarily mean? You know what I'm saying? Let's break that down. So when you bring value, solving problems, like how are you identifying these problems? I want to help the community get to know that.
Well, it's really what you just said. To me, it starts with the mindset, right? And I had to make this shift, real talk. I had to make the shift because most of us, when I think about entrepreneurs, right? When I talk to young entrepreneurs, a lot of things that they talk about initially is their exit strategy. And I get it. We're taught that, right? We're taught that. And when people go into organizations, they are looking at it through the lens of what they can get out of it. And I get it to some degree because I was in that same mindset. But bro, when I started flipping it and saying, okay, I'm not going to walk through these doors thinking about what I can get. I want to walk through these doors thinking about what I can contribute. Message. What can I contribute to make this better? What can I want to know what the organization's purpose is. What's the vision? What's the mission? Right? So I can understand how I can contribute to that, how I can elevate that, how I can make a cultural impact, a social impact, an economic impact based on what I know I'm good at. And when you have that mindset of focusing on what you can contribute versus what you can consume, you will naturally add value and people will feel that.
Pardon. I was going to hit up with another message. He done got like 10. We all minute 15. I'm trying to slow down the messages, but I can't.
You know, I'm glad that you said that, Tru, because we talk about value and understanding who you are, self-worth. It starts with understanding who you are. So like you said, you recognize that this is what I do. Other people can do things well, and congratulations to them, but these are my talents, right? it's no way for you to provide value to somebody else unless you understand what your value is within yourself first and primarily.
Yeah.
Know your strengths, know your weaknesses, right? And if you do have weaknesses, those can become strengths later. That just means that's something that you need to work on, right? But you play into that. What you don't do is waste time trying to be something that you're not.
Message.
And so many people do that, bro. So we see it. I know y'all see it. I see it all the time, man. It's something I call, and when I do some coaching and mentoring, it's a model that I created. I call GPS to purpose, right? Because be purpose driven. Understand why you are doing what you are doing. Do it with intentionality, right? What is the purpose behind why you are doing what you're doing? Now, the way that you can be clear about that purpose as it relates to you, right, as an individual, is that's where the GPS comes in. We all know what a GPS is, right? It guides you to where you're going, right? You punch in the coordinates and it takes you to where you want to go. We all have our own internal GPS. All we got to do is follow it. And those are your gifts, your passions, and your service. We all are extremely gifted, right, in some way, right? And then we have these passions, we have these desires. And I'm not just talking about material things. I ain't just talking about a Bentley. I ain't talking about some Kobe Grinches, like all these whatever, right? You know what I mean? I'm talking about things that we are truly passionate about, the desires of our heart. And when you find that intersection point between your gifts and your passions, but then here's the kicker, when you leverage that to serve something bigger than yourself, that's where the value comes in. So when you can find that GPS, game over.
Yeah, bro, you going crazy. You going crazy, man. I love it, man.
Is that not what we talk about all the time in different words, though, Cuzzo?
Absolutely.
That's what we talk about in not in the same words, but me and my cousin talk about that every single show.
But the principle, right? But the principle, you can whatever words you choose. I just decided to codify it because I got a market in mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
But it's the principle remains the same. However you choose to frame it up.
Yeah, we use impact over metrics and passion over profits, right? We know why we're doing this, right? Will we be Joe Rogan? Maybe, maybe not. Can we think we can get there? Absolutely. But if we don't, guess what? We're touching people right now. We're inspiring people right now. We did 100 episodes, tripled our output in 1 year, talking to brothers like yourself, man. You know what I mean? Doing it from the couch, in the trenches still. I know for myself, Cuzzo's up top. You know what I mean? And we doing it. So nobody self-funded. We're bootstrapping. We're Timberlanding this shit up. It's a lot, but you got to have the mindset to do it. Because that's going to bring me back to where I wanted to ask you, right? Because you said the mindset, right? Tell us a little bit about growing up so we can understand where that mind shift started to, to shift, right? Because I'm assuming you, just like us, bro, we come from urban, arenas. You know what it is, man. So where'd that change?
No, it's a great question. And you know how they say hindsight is 20/20, right? And so the fact that I serve in the realm of being a bridge builder now, I can look back on my life and understand why that aligns with who I am, right? Being a bridge builder, why I do that so well. So I'm originally from Baltimore. So grew up in Baltimore, West Baltimore. Shout out B More.
Wait, say it right. Is it Baltimore? Baltimore?
Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Like the Wire. You say like Snoop in this motherfucker.
Yo, I love it. Just hilarious because it's Baltimore. You can tell when people are actually born there versus when we say that it's Baltimore.
Oh man, my wife gets on me all the time, right? Sometimes it just comes out, right?
That accent.
Yeah. So grew up in West Baltimore, man, and where and how I grew up. I mean, like you just said, Jay, it's like, you know what it is, right? And I when I tell the story, it's not to glorify it, it's not to make people feel sorry for me. It's just it is what it is, right?
Absolutely.
Drugs, crime, violence. I mean, seeing people get shot regularly, seeing people get killed. I mean, it's crazy to say it out loud, right? I mean, at this stage of my life. Because I realized, man, not just me, because it was me and everybody, from the neighborhood. We all grew up the same way. And you really learn to normalize violence, bro. I think it's a coping mechanism.
Absolutely.
And it's just like, I just saw my man get shot the other day, and then you back out on the court at the playground like nothing happened. You know what I mean?
Shit. No other choice.
Yeah, right. And so that gives you an idea of kind of where and how I grew up. Now I'm the youngest of 6.
Okay.
my mom decided to bus me to school. And I was hot about it because all my older siblings, you know, they got to go to the zone school with all our neighborhood friends. And so she decided, all right, this is my last one. I see something special in them. And so I got bused across town to the white school, to the rich white school, right? And I'm hot, bro, because I want to go to school with my friends. But as a kid, you're resilient, you navigate it and you figure it out, right? Because I mean, come on, man. I was the poor black kid, right? And it wasn't hard to tell, you know, but you a kid, you know, you make friends, you figure it out, you learn to socialize. And then as I made friends with the kids at school, then it became my school friends and my neighborhood friends. And at an early age, I'm talking from elementary, right? And so now I'm like, wait a minute. It's a real big difference between my school friends and my neighborhood friends. I'm talking to my school friends, bro. They talking about going on vacations. I mean, their parents got cars. I mean, they got homes with garage. I mean, like stuff that's normal to us now. But at that life stage, I was like, oh, wow, like none of my friends really. And I'm not trying, I mean, I'm just telling it the way that it is. And I'm not trying to diminish anybody in this.
No.
My mom worked hard, right? My mom worked hard, love her to death, God rest her soul. And she gave me the best possible life she could have given me. And I know that. And I will always appreciate that.
Message.
Yeah.
It was just a lot that me and the people in my neighborhood didn't have, particularly as it compared to my school friends. And then I began to, when I remember talking to my neighborhood friends, when I would come home, be like, yo, man, we should do this and we should try to do this and we should do that. Man, it would be basic stuff. Like, I don't know, man, like going to a beach. It's like, yo, man, we should think about getting our money together and getting some stuff to go and go on a shopping trip or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And they be like, yo, man, you talking white. But it was just nice stuff. It was like, it was just nice stuff. But we had been conditioned to think we didn't deserve as much. So at an early age, man, because I saw different and I saw more, I wanted more. But I wanted to my neighborhood friends to understand, yo, we can all get more. And because I saw the differences early on, I think that instilled in me this desire and this drive to bridge those gaps, right? Just from a mindset and even just from an aspirational standpoint. And so that kind of gives you a little bit of background. And then I went to school, man. I went to Poly in Baltimore. It's an engineering school. So after that, I decided I wanted to be an engineer. Man, I went to DeVry in Atlanta. Got a degree in electrical engineering. After I graduated, I was like, nah, I don't really want to do this. And then, man, I bought a one-way ticket to LA, man, because when I was in school, me and my crew, we did all the parties, right? Yeah. Down the AU Center and we did all the parties. And man, I was the MC of the crew. And I was like, wait a minute, people kind of feeling this. Maybe I got something here.
Yeah.
Man, one-way ticket to LA. Chase my rap dreams, chase my microphone dreams, man. So I lived in LA for 3 years trying to get on as a rapper. And then that led me into marketing. There was a lady in LA who saw I had a nice little following with me and my homeboy, me and my partner, shout out to Primetime. And we would be doing shows. And she's like, oh, y'all got a little following. And so she started giving me gear to wear. And she had a licensing agreement with Converse. So all the gear she was giving me and with Converse gear, and I'm in LA, so you know that it was popping. And so she put a word in with the folks at Converse and was like, yo, it's this kid out here, y'all may want to take a look at him because he really making some noise for the brand. They reached out to me, and I remember they started to pay me $300 a week to wear the gear and give away free stuff at my shows. Man, this was influencer and product placement before I even knew what those terms were. Right. And so I'm doing that, and that goes well. It blows up for them. They offered me a job at their ad agency in Boston to be what they called the voice of the consumer. I still remember the title. So my job was to give them the insights to help drive the advertising campaigns so that they could reach and connect with urban markets. And that's how I got into advertising, bro.
That's a dope story.
Love it. I just wanted to take it back 1 second, Tru. Before we get too far, we have to acknowledge the vision of your mother. Again, be clear. A lot of people don't understand when you become a parent, the very small decisions that you make in a child's life can affect that child's life immensely. You said your mother had other children, but with you, she decided, nah, I'm going to go a different route. I'm going to bus him to a different school to give him a different opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Now, you had the opportunity at this point as a young kid to either go with it or rebel, right? And the reason I'm bringing this up is because my mother made a different decision. See, I was in that position. And in New York, we have a poly and all that. I took specialized tests to get into these schools. And when I went to this special school, when I walked into for orientation, it was nothing but Asians in there. It was like 2 black kids. And I looked at my mother like, you're out of your fucking mind. If you think that I'm going to this school and I'm going to be the only 1 or 2 black, like they don't understand what I'm not going. And I walked out. Now, again, me being a street kid, it was a little different, but my mother allowed it. She didn't kick back on it. She was like, you don't want to go here. You don't have to. Instead of being like, you're bugging. This is a math science specialty high school. It's known for scholarships. It's known for producing some of the brightest minds in the Bronx. This is one of the best schools. Your ass is going. It was none of that.
Right.
So you understand what I'm saying? I ended up going to still
I was going. I ain't want to go.
Now, but I walked out. I'm just telling you, like, I was like, I'm not going. I'm like, I'm not going, but I'm just showing you something like that school produces some of the brightest and smartest academic minds that end up going to these MITs and all these. You understand? These become the people that end up making these apps and running these companies. And like you said, I could have ended up making lifelong friends that ended up being CEOs. And you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Instead, I went to a school which was still like math and science, but it was more urban. Now I'm around the hood again. You understand? So the conversations that you were having in school that I could have had, I end up not having.
Yeah. No, you right, man. It changed my life, man, because it changed my perspective.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
right?
it is.
Yeah. Just being around. I mean, when you see something different, it just gives you a certain drive. It's just like, oh wow, like you see that as possible. Because man, I'm telling you, man, those kids weren't smarter than me, not even in the least. Right. And when I realized that, I was like, oh man, like you can do this. Oh man, I know I can do this. I know I can become that. I know I can live this out in a manner that will get me all the things that I see you and your family got. Because bro, you ain't no matter of fact. Y'all looking at me, y'all leaning on me for answers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Shit. So I was gonna ask you too, because shit, you like I'm pretty sure how many people you've seen. I'm pretty sure you probably try to put a lot of people onto marketing, advertising, the opportunity. How many people in your close circle even followed your path or anything like that? Any of them?
Man, that's one of the things I'm so proud of, and I want to say this. I want to frame this up properly, man, because I want to say this with as much humility as possible. Because I believe to whom much is given, much is required.
Message.
Oh, talk about it.
My favorite saying.
Yeah, and so man, because I was in the position that I was in, man, I felt a responsibility because it wasn't a lot of people that looked like me in those rooms.
Absolutely.
And so I felt the responsibility to create pathways and opportunities for a lot of other people. And man, and there are a lot of other people that, and some names y'all probably know, but it's not my place because I don't want to claim that I put anybody on, right? I created pathways and opportunities. And man, that's one of the things I'm most proud of when I look at that pipeline and where people are today and who's doing what today. Man, to me, that always puts a smile on my face anytime I sit back and reflect on it and think about it.
That's real, man. I gotta ask you a follow-up, Tru. You know, I gotta ask you the real question, man. Yeah. Because when I came in the industry, seeing somebody like you, I thought it was impossible. I was the guy with the baggy slacks, the braids down the back, doing sales. Didn't see anybody in executive C-suite, even VP level that looked like me. And if they did, they didn't want no parts of me. Right. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it was just like, all right, like, I see you, homeboy. I see you, youngin'. Like, keep grinding, and maybe I get to you. Right. That type of vibe. You know what I mean? Not until we started, elevating our career and things like that. what advice would you give to others, like for like playing a game? We talk a lot about playing a game in this industry. How were you able to elevate? What are some advice would you give the young professionals to elevate to the C level that you have? You know what I mean?
No, man, it goes back to what I said earlier. Like, that doesn't change, man. Always look to understand where and how you can add value, right? And there are 3 things that are tied to long-term success, right? And there's studies that support this. One is internships, mentorship, and sponsorship. Those are the 3 ships that lead to long-term success. So, and I'm not saying a summer job, like get an internship in the field or industry that you are interested in, because that's where you start to gain some of that experience and start to build networks and getting to meet people and know people that are in that field and doing the things that you want to do. Identify someone that is doing the thing that you want to do and be willing to approach that person to be a mentor for you. Now, a mentorship relationship goes 2 ways. Like, the mentor obviously has a responsibility, but so does the mentee. You have a responsibility to be committed and to be intentional about understanding where and how you can add value to your mentor. Now, it's not a whole lot you could do at a certain level, but you have to extend that offer to always be willing to understand, what it is that I can do, and invest in yourself. Right? Be willing to invest in yourself. Go visit with them. Go buy them a cup of coffee. Man, and you spend a couple dollars on a cup of coffee or on lunch just to spend time with someone that is willing to give you their time, someone that is where you want to be. If you're not willing to invest that in yourself, I don't know what you're doing out here.
Message. Yeah, but it doesn't start there, though. It started years before that. See? But it started years before that. You stated you bought a 1-way ticket.
There you go.
To LA. Let's talk about when you invested in yourself initially.
Yeah.
You're from Baltimore. I don't know if you have family in California.
Nope.
There it is.
Out there.
So think about it. You grew up in an urban society. You already now have 2 different experiences with your family, siblings and stuff, the streets. You got the school that's teaching you something different, but you said, let me buy a 1-way ticket, no safety net, safety net. I'm going to go here and I'm going to give myself the opportunity to try to chase my dreams. Now, in the aspect of what you wanted, it didn't work out for you, but by you being consistent and working at a certain level, it ended up opening doors for you to end up being what you are today. But had you never taken that step and not been afraid to leave the hood, to leave your family and spread your wings and say, I got to do this for me, then none of this ever happens.
Message. I'm so glad you said that, because when I think about that, right, and we talked about gifts, right, trusting your gifts. So when I think about me pursuing a career as a rapper, I trusted my gifts. I was like, all right, man, I'm good at this. Now, I never ended up becoming this multi-platinum selling rap artist, right? But the gift that I use even today is the same gift. The gift remains the same. The application of the gift has changed, which has opened doors for me, but I trusted my gift. So what is the gift that is required to be good at rapping? The ability to use words to influence people's thoughts, decisions, moods, and behaviors. That led me into advertising. What is the gift required in advertising? The ability to use words and images to influence people's thoughts, decisions, and behaviors. Now, as a bridge builder, as a public speaker, as an author, right? What is the gift that is used for me to be effective as a public speaker? The ability to use words to influence people's thoughts, decisions, feelings, and behaviors. The gift never changed. What changed was the application of the gift. But because, and thanks for pointing that out, I was willing to trust in the gift. It then led me to doors and opportunities that really helped me say, oh, okay, I thought I was supposed to use the gift for this, but now this is where and how I'm supposed to use the gift, that GPS to purpose right there. Man, you brought that home well.
That's right. I was going to follow up with you right now. I think a perfect segue. Tell us a time when that trust in your gift was tested, right? So you're 3 years out there. It was one memorable one that was tested, but you still pursued the path.
Man, a lot of times when knowing, not just thinking, knowing I'm better than somebody else. Like, I remember I'm out there. I met this guy named Terrence Toy. He was on the radio station. 92.3 The Beat was the radio station.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just at some event, some function. I'm at some bar, right? And I just meet him randomly. And I'm telling him, man, yeah, I'm from B-More. I'm out here trying to do my thing. And he was like, yo, I have a show. He had like one of the late segment shows, right, on the 92.3 The Beat. And he was like, yo, bro, I do this thing called mic check before my show all the time, right? And I just have an up and coming MC come on, spit something real quick as part of the mic check, just to help them get some exposure. Man, if you want to come through, I'll let you do the mic check. So the day that I go up there, the Lynch Mob is there promoting their new album. I don't know if y'all remember
Lynch Mob. Yeah. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they hear me spit. And so they was like, yo, homie, like you can flow, right? You know, it's like, yo, like Cube, I love you. So next thing you know, they introduced me to Cube. Man, I'm opening for the Lynch Mob at this spot on Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywood called Diamond Club. And so I say all that to say, man, I was stamped. So I knew I could fly. Like, I knew I could write. That wasn't even a question. But once I started to understand the politics of the game, man, and see these whack cats starting to get on, I was like, it's discouraging, bro. It's discouraging.
Hate it.
And get y'all ass. I'm gonna learn this motherfucking marketing. Kill you all.
You call those bars? Homie, that's what you thought was bars?
Well, that's what y'all looking for?
That's hot to y'all.
The machine. So he became the machine.
Right. But, yo, what that taught me was, you know, you may have to change the approach, but never give up on the dream.
That was real, man.
I want to say something too, because this is a big debate, and I want to present this to you. This is a big debate that we have all the time about Black people being generalized specialists. Generalized specialists. We know that innately we are super talented.
Yep.
More often than not, a lot of us never hone in on one thing, because what we do is we're opportunists. We're like, yo, if I get the opportunity to make some money and provide for my family here, then I'm gonna do that. Then if I get another opportunity here, even if it's not in the realm of what I want to do, it's for the bag, I'm elevating, I take that. So we have a lot of guests that say you should never do that, right? You should never do that. You should just stay with what you're doing, no matter what, right? But look at what you said. You went from rapping to technically being a brand ambassador. Yeah. From rap to brand ambassador, model. You're modeling clothing. Technically, you're a model. You're modeling clothing, and you're a brand ambassador. And then you get hired for marketing, and you have a degree in electrical engineering. What the fuck are we talking about? Technically, some of our guests will be like, "You're all over the place. You're never gonna be successful. You don't know what the fuck you're doing." But that is why I argue them all the way down, because this is my point. You never know. If you turn down an opportunity because you're so stuck into one thing, you never know what doors that opportunity could have possibly opened up for you. You see what I'm saying? No, you took that switch. Yeah, because when they offered me the job at the ad agency, in my mind, I was like, that ain't really what I want to do, but this might be able to help my rap career. I'm gonna tell y'all, right? Exactly.
That's why I took the gig. Yeah. I was like, yo, and I had to move to Boston. I was living in LA. I had to move to Boston. Right. Like, all right, you know what? This might be able to help my rap career. Once I got in the agency, I was like, wait a minute, yo, I kind of like this, and I'm good at it. You know, so it helped me again hone my skills and my gifts to recognize, okay, maybe this is the proper application of my gifts. But had I not accepted that opportunity, I never would have known that. There it is. Yeah. that was beautiful for me, because I'm clipping that up. You know I'm clipping that up. Yeah. Because like I said, we've had a lot of successful people on this show. And some of the biggest debates is the fact that our culture jumps from opportunity to opportunity, never, 20% energy here, 20% energy here, 20% energy here, instead of giving one opportunity 100%. And they say that is a formula for failure.
And I argue that all the time when I say,
I think the context. I would say I think the context is that they created the opportunity. When you have no opportunity, bro, like when you go from thing to thing, right? If I have zero opportunities, then I'm starting a fashion brand, then I'm starting a podcast, then I'm doing social media content, then I got an agency over here. People don't know which one you're going to be. And their argument is you got to niche down to scale, get a big body of water, get something that you actually known for, and then you make other opportunities created off of that, right? So I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? Like two things can be true, bro, because we got to be known for something, right? Like you, Tru, you're an author, right? But you're also a motivational speaker. Those are interchangeable gifts, right? Those are interchangeable. Same thing.
Like the same gift applies. And to that point that you just made, there's a quote that I love, and I share it oftentimes when I'm speaking, is that methods are many, principles are few. Methods will always change, but principles never do.
Method.
The methodology of how you go about doing this, the method and the approach that you take, it is going to change because the world evolves and changes. It almost is a necessity for the methodology to change. But as long as you stay true to the principle of why you're doing what you are doing, then you will always end up winning. I mean, I really feel like, bro, I have just thrown out the lost column in my life. And I'm not even saying that from a place of arrogance, man. It's wins or lessons, bro. There's no losses, because if it didn't work out the way that I intended for it to work out, I'm taking that lesson and I'm applying it to how I move forward.
That's a fact, man. Hey, bro.
So stability on that too. What about stability though, Tru? What about stability? What about chasing your dream but needing the resources to be able to do what you want to do? We did music. I lived in LA for almost 2 years, 2.5. I lived in LA. I lived in Cali. You understand? We lived in San Diego, and I lived in LA on Airport Avenue. I lived in San Diego on University. I lived in LA.
Right.
We did music. I'm in the studio now. This fucking equipment ain't cheap.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying to you? And in any stage in life, from when we was doing music with ADATs and MPC, this shit is not cheap. You need to do what you need to do oftentimes to provide resources and opportunities for you to chase your dream in which you feel like you're talented in that area, right? Because if I'm the best rapper in the world, but nobody ever hears me, how do I ever get on? If I can never cut a demo, if I can never get studio time, how does anybody ever hear me?
Exactly.
So my argument a lot of times is use one platform to help springboard your passion.
That's what I agree.
Your passion, right?
Yeah.
And I'll use us as an example, right? So Cuzzo and me, we had jobs, high 6-figure jobs, and we quit because we're like, this is not what we were meant to do. But we used the resources and the lessons that we learned from corporate, from being management and et cetera, and we apply it, like you said, in our everyday lives of how we run our company, right? But guess what? We couldn't start the company without resources. We couldn't take these trips to these conferences and learn how to be better podcasters, how to do the business of podcasting without leverage on resources and credit. We couldn't do any of these things.
Right.
So that'd be my argument a lot of times. Like, you have to get started somewhere. You have to use one thing to funnel into another thing until the other thing that you're passionate about has enough traction where you can say, okay, now I don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I believe everything for any of us, right? Everything that we've done in our lives up until the point where you really gain clarity of purpose of why you are here and doing the thing you should be doing is simply practice and preparation. Because from the electrical engineering degree to the rapping to the getting bused to school to the advertising and marketing, all of those things contributed to why I have the level of expertise in what I do today.
That's real, bro. I'm curious now, bro. Who was somebody that gave you game on the way up in the advertising game? Like, what's the best advice that you got when you was coming up?
Man, that's a great question, bro, because it was really, man, figuring it out as I go along, man. Yeah, I mean, and that's just real talk, man. I didn't have somebody like me or one of you brothers that had really come before me to really lay down the groundwork or the blueprint. Man, it was a lot of trial and error. man, for real. Now, and I don't want to be dismissive of, like I said, Ed Eskandarian and Fran Kelly, the executives at Arnold, Tom Burke, you know what I mean? Like these are a lot of the white executives at Arnold that I learned from, right? I learned the game from them because I just there was no one that looked like me in the game at the time that was, laid down the blueprint, for me to follow. And I never, so once I had that opportunity to be in that position, again, that's why I felt like, look, man, I didn't have it. And I know what that felt like. I have a responsibility to be that for the next generation.
Yeah. Has it? I want to ask you the real question. Has that ever backfired, bro? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to keep it real. I got to keep it real with you because you know what it is.
It has. You want to. I mean, look. You can't win them all, coach. Right?
Yeah.
You put people in positions because you really want to see them do well, man. And I used the word y'all used earlier. They're just opportunists, right? And they don't deliver. And unfortunately, man, and y'all know where I'm going with this. For us, that's a reflection on all of us. Like our counterparts put somebody on, and their person don't deliver. It's not a reflection on the entire identity that they represent.
Message.
Talk about it.
We put somebody on and they don't deliver, or they mess up, or they do something shady, or whatever. It's a reflection on all of us.
That's so real, bro.
So, yeah, I've been burned. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. I want to talk mentality shift. Let's talk mentality shift. It's one thing when you went out there and you said, I want to be a rapper. I'm doing this thing. You get the contract from Converse. You're working, but you're a worker.
Yep.
You're in the marketing. You're a worker. When did the mentality shift to come to you and say, okay, I'm a phenomenal worker, but now I want to be an owner. I want to be an entrepreneur. What made that shift happen to make you say, I can now do this on my own and I'm ready to step out again without the safety net of the paycheck, yeah. and now experience what it is to now run everything. And what was that like? What made you shift from the worker mentality of I'm doing a great job and I fit in and I like doing this to now I want to do this with my name on the door and my name on the building? What was that like?
Man, seeing how much money was being generated.
It is. Money always a great motivator.
Some season.
Yo, you like, man, like, and it's almost like when you look at a lot of these pro athletes, right? And and I would hear people say, oh man, they paying so-and-so X amount. Why is he complaining? Like, and I would always think about, but it's somebody that can afford to pay him that. How much are they making?
Message.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
A lot of high six-figure salaries out there on the agency side. Yes, sir.
So that was for me. It was like, because I knew what these different accounts were worth, right?
Were you selling them, or are you like account management? What was your role there?
No, when I first got on, like I told you, I was basically what they call an account planner. But then once I, started elevating and getting into the executive level, you pitching these new business, like we'd be like, oh man, we got an opportunity for this $5 million Axe account. We got an opportunity for this $20 million. So I'm like, okay, 20 million. All right. So who on this account again? It's me, it's him, it's her, it's her. So it's 5 of us and y'all get 20 million. So wait a minute, hold up. How we sharing the wealth on this again?
Right. Talk about it.
And I get there's a lot of overhead to big agencies, so I get it. But man, there's a lot of profit margin.
Absolutely. And a lot of agencies don't, not saying that you guys work anything like that, but a majority don't deliver.
Right.
It may be you $10 million, $15 million to get a backlash or a horrible account, but it's all these legacy accounts that have been there. You've been with Arnold for 10 years. You've been with McCon for 15 years. You've been with this one for 10. I think our girls that was at Arnold, Mary Webb with the Geico.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our girl, Mary Webb. So she was
Shout out
on
to
the
Mary, man. Shout out to Mary, man. She's a good friend of the show.
Good.
Okay, good. Yep.
Yeah, that's our peoples, man.
You know, I want to I'm curious about this also because now I'm thinking about this. I laugh at situations like this. We talked about, and this is a big conversation on the show, the way society is now, how we value education versus experience. What's better, the degree, the piece of paper, or the on-the-job experience? So you talked about one of the best ways to get on is internship. You got on by word of mouth and doing something. Correct. That electrical engineering degree had nothing to do with you walking into door for marketing. It's fucking apples and a tomato. You see, when the moon, you understand? It has nothing to do with it. So now you start to climb the ranks, not based off of that piece of paper that you got from DeVry or any other college, but based on the work ethic and what you are providing to the company. Now you say, hindsight 2020, should I have even gone to school and gotten that degree, or should I have just tried to get an internship with one of these companies early on and got the early experience to try to get my foot in the door that way, right? That's a phenomenal debate, because guess what? The latter is the internship, you don't have the mountain of debt. Right. Like, you don't have that 80, 90, whatever that degree course you to get from going to school, in addition to if you're possibly in credit card debt, because we know what they do with credit cards and students, right? So this is a phenomenal debate, especially nowadays with the value of education. Is it more beneficial now for kids to actually go get a collegiate education, go to school and do that? Or should they just have more of these technical programs, these internship programs? Because now interns get paid. If you would have interned back then, you would have did it for free. Now there's a stipend system. I think it's federally that interns must get paid a certain, whatever the case may be. So now you actually are making something decent where you can try to survive on that. What's your thoughts on that?
Man, my wife and I have this debate often.
It is. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, often. Yeah. And I laugh because to the point you made, right? I was like, if I were to apply, if I would have applied for the account planner job or the marketing job, even for, I was, chief impact officer, chief diversity officer for the Timberwolves and the Lynx in the NBA. No, didn't go to school for any of that. And so my point to my wife is that I don't know that I would have gotten hired if I would have applied, but I turned out being one of the industry's foremost experts in these disciplines. Method. So
talk about it.
I think I'm a big fan of education, but I do think there is a distinction between schooling and education, right? So I'm educated myself on a lot of these areas. I self-educate daily.
Absolutely.
So there's a tremendous value in education. I will always advocate for people to educate themselves.
Right.
But going to school for a specific degree, I think depending on it, I think it really varies based on your situation. I tell a lot of young people, man, like vocations and trades, man, that's the way to go. Like for real. Because to get $80,000, $90,000 in debt with no guarantees, I don't know, man. I'm a big proponent of education, but I view education and schooling very differently. I don't think you need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get a piece of paper. I think when you go to college, it shows, that degree shows people you have the aptitude and capacity to learn. And I think that's really what the validation is for that piece of paper.
I definitely agree. I think for certain careers, if you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, yes. But I think what we want to do is tell people that there is an opportunity that you can go into marketing and advertising. Because I don't care what anybody says, we're marketing and advertising every single day. We're walking past it. Every post you put up on social media is an advertisement, is a brand. You are your brand. You are the brand of your life, right? So we are doing it. If you sit there doing graffitis in your sketch pad, you could be doing creative work for a brand, right? Oh. If you're doing the rapping like me, like all three of us, how many jingles have you recorded, Tru? How many jingles? The pen is fire, but we don't record not a damn jingle, right? So we're not thinking about this way. So we got to educate them and say, look, this is an industry that people are making high six figures that you didn't have to. Most people that we talk to that come on the show, bro, stumble upon the industry, myself included.
Yeah,
myself included. I just stumbled.
Steve Stout. I don't know if Steve Stout went to school or not.
No, I don't believe he did.
I don't either.
I'm not going to chime in on it because I don't know.
No, I don't know about it, but I'm not sure.
He did. At least if he did, I don't know if it was for marketing communications, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe he did. Jay-Z did not go. Like, Jay-Z is hitting up the branding and entertainment marketing for the Super Bowl, bro. It does not get any bigger than that.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any bigger than that. You think he went to school for marketing and communications? Well, we all know
he went to school for marketing. It was just blue magic.
Yeah, that was saying, come on, man.
It was just blue magic.
Look at them interchangeable skills.
The blue magic marketing.
Back to the GPS. Hit him with the GPS, Tru.
my thing, Tru, is education versus opportunity. Education versus opportunity. Hear me out. You have an electrical engineering degree. I am about 2 semesters short of my engineering degree in construction management and civil engineering. So we're both engineers, right? I've been doing construction 22 years. I stopped because of COVID. One of the great things why I chose my school to go to for this engineering was because every single year, like clockwork, every single city agency that dealt with anything that school taught came to our school and had a job fair, not song and dance. We're talking job fair. This is the requirements for entry level, and we are looking for people right out of school. This is what you need to do. When you get your degree, take this test, get certified, apply. We're hiring a certain amount of people, guaranteed. Right. Guaranteed. See, now that's different, right? Because now all of these jobs are giving you opportunities and maybe fields that you didn't even know you could apply this degree in, right? So now let's talk marketing and advertising. So if you want to go to school and learn this thing, I'm not saying don't. What I'm saying is, where are the marketing and agency firms that are coming to the school, not for just the valedictorian and the salutatorian. We know they're going to get jobs, but we're talking about how many other kids in just that school alone is getting that degree. Now multiply that by how many other colleges offer the same exact degree, and how many people are studying this application of knowledge that are not getting presented with the opportunities to apply it. Right. That's where I feel like the waste is right there. Yeah. Now, if more companies came to these schools and actually gave out real job fair opportunities, so listen, you're going to come in as a tier 1. You're going to come in as an intern. But like I said, the fact that they did it at our school, I loved it because they told you what your salary was, what the requirements was. And they also told you you can stay here 1 or 2 years, and this is how you move up. They showed you scalability. Yeah. They gave you the blueprint and said, if this is what you're looking for, fine. Even if it's not what you're looking for, it's a great start. Because once you get into the agency and now you're in the company within the city, you can lateral move without, you understand? Now you're in, now you can, that's phenomenal. Now you can put these skills to the test, because more often than not, when you learn a degree, because I learned on the job as an apprentice, I went through an apprenticeship program, but now when I'm school trained and I get back on the job, you know, the first thing that I tell people that come to work with degrees, okay, I'm glad you learned that book shit, but let me show you how we do it in real time. Right. Yeah, it's a huge difference. No, it's a difference now. All that shit you learned in 4 years, forget about all of that. It's a big difference. Let me show you how we actually do this in real time. So now it's like, what the fuck did I even go to? You see what I'm saying? It's like you chasing your tail in a fucking circle.
Well, man, we could take this conversation in so many ways, man. One of my favorite TED Talks is by, I believe his name is Sir Ken Williams. Right. And he talks about education reform. Okay. He talks about the model of how we educate, right? And it's been the same model, man. If you look at pictures of kids in the classroom back in the 1700s, where there's a bunch of kids in the classroom, the authoritative, teacher figure at the front, teaching them 1 + 1 is 2. Like the model has been the same, for centuries, right? We haven't evolved. It's the same model. And he talked about how different children learn differently, or different young people learn differently. And we base in our society everything on academic intelligence based on the rigid structure that our school systems use to determine if you are smart. And
Message.
academic intelligence. Man, you have creative geniuses, you have musical geniuses, you have artistic geniuses, people that just learn differently. And because they can't learn the way, I mean, it's that age-old question: did the student fail the class, or did the teacher fail the student? Right?
Message.
Because we aren't understanding the diverse way of how different young people learn, we are discouraging and throwing away so much talent because they just don't fit into this mold.
Don't fit the mold.
Yeah, they don't fit into this mold of academic education.
That's real, bro.
And if and you, because what happens is kids, like, because I consider myself one of those kids because I've always been super smart. You get bored. So you know what I get labeled? The troublemaker.
Right.
I get labeled the class clown because I sit there like, you got to be fucking kidding me. I'm bored. My mind is racing. What you're teaching me, I'm just like, Jesus. Now I'm like, let me draw, let me scribble, let me do everything to occupy this creative genius that I have. But you don't see that. You're just looking at me because I'm not following this curriculum.
Right.
That I'm a troublemaker, or, you know, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Now more so they label these kids with ADD or ADHD, right? And then you want to medicate these children.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, you know what? Let's put them in a more intensive class, right? Like the AP classes, or like, you know, the harder. Let's put them in a more challenging curriculum, because clearly this is not challenging. They're not looking at it like that.
Or use imagery to help them understand, or use, you know, music to help them understand. Use some different way. I mean, I know y'all said y'all were in music, man, and I had the good fortune of spending some time with the Roots, with Amir and Tariq, right? Doing some stuff with them. Or we did the Hennessy Artistry tour together. So I was with them for 2, maybe 3 years, working on that tour. Man, both of those brothers, man, geniuses, man. When you sit down and talk, I mean, geniuses. But I think they were fortunate in the regard that the way that the path that they pursued, right, allowed them to cultivate their genius, you know, through music. But you sit down and have just a conversation with them about life, brilliant, right? Now, I don't know, but I've talked to this about Amir, but I don't know if we put them in a traditional structured classroom setting, if we have the gift of the Roots that we have today.
That's real, bro. That's real. There's mad different ways. There's mad questions I want to ask you too. I know we're coming up on time too, broski. But I want to ask you about the Minnesota Timberwolves opportunity. I want to ask you, how did that come about? You know, a million things could have happened, right or wrong, to get that opportunity. What was it like interviewing it, like negotiating? You ain't got to tell us numbers and nothing like that. But like, you know, how did you interviewing with the owner of the team? Like, what does that look like, man?
Again, bro, trust your gifts, man. It all goes back to that initial decision of trusting my gifts, right? And then it just
snowballed.
My gifts made room and opportunities that just continued to build over the years. So it was 2014, if y'all remember, when Mike Brown was shot and killed at first, right? And I was already doing bridge building work. I had left the agency life. I started Tru Access in 2012, thinking that I was going to focus on helping organizations build bridges across generational differences, right? I wrote my first book, Millennials, Revealed, to launch that expertise and say, hey, you know, if y'all dealing with generational challenges, everybody was wilding out over the millennials at the time, like, oh, what do we do with the millennials, right? And so I was working with organizations to bridge generational gaps. And that's what I thought the focus of my business was going to be, real talk, because I saw so much opportunity and confusion in that space. 2014, man, former officer Darren Wilson shoots and kills Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri. Changed my life. So I told y'all I grew up in Baltimore. The part that I didn't say, and y'all could probably read into it, was on the receiving end of excessive force by the police, because the cops that policed our neighborhood, they just came rolling through heavy-handed on all of us, whether we was the one selling, slinging, like something went off. Somebody got shot. They can't. If you look like us, you was getting hemmed up, right? Living in LA, on the receiving end of excessive force by the police. Now I'm older, right? I'm in, my early 20s. Coming out of a 7-Eleven in Crenshaw district. Police cars pulling up. Cop jumps out, grabs me, throws me to the ground, man, knee in my back, face pressed against the black top of the parking lot, gun inside of my head. Give me a reason, I wish you would. Case of mistake. Damn! Yeah, case of mistaken identity, right? So most of my adult life, bro, I didn't like it. I didn't trust police. Real talk. Just because those experiences. So where we live in Cary, North Carolina, it's a predominantly white, relatively affluent community. We have a 12-year-old son. 2014, he was 2 at the time. So Mike Brown gets shot and killed. So now that's triggering really some unresolved and unreleased trauma that I had experienced growing up, but I had just suppressed. And it was one thing, and I don't know if y'all parents, but it's one thing to navigate life for yourself. But man, when you got a seed, man, when you got a kid, it's a whole different ball game. So now, bro, how am I going to protect him from these same things that happen to me, same things that I'm seeing happening all over the country? How am I going to protect him from those things happening to him in this rich white community that we live in? And so, man, that led to me walking through the doors of our local police department one day and saying, hey, look, man, I'm concerned about the safety of my son. Do I have cause to be concerned? And that led to a relationship with the police chief at the time. And he said, well, help us figure out how to get it right. So I started delivering some diversity programs and workshops for that department to help them build bridges of trust and legitimacy with the Black community. Those went well. He started telling his friends. Next thing I know, I'm doing it for Raleigh, for Durham, for Fayetteville, for Charlotte. Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Throughout the state. And so I gained some notoriety for being a bridge builder between law enforcement and the Black community. And that was a heavy focus of the work that I was doing for Tru Access. Still a bridge builder across any and all differences, but a lot of it at that time was building bridges across racial divides. Right?
That's fire.
Yeah.
And when George Floyd got killed in May of 2020, there was an executive at the Timberwolves who was familiar with the work that I was doing. And man, I don't have to tell y'all the problems that were popping off in Minneapolis at the time.
Yeah.
So players really having some issues with the Minneapolis PD. They said, hey, look, we see you do this bridge building work with police in the Black community. Can you come and see if you can, facilitate some workshops between our players and the Minneapolis PD? So I did that, but as a consultant, right, for what I do as Tru Access. And they was like, yo, man, we'd like to offer you a job to come in here and do this with us full time, become our first chief diversity officer. And so
fire.
Initially though, and I said, I know you said you don't need all the details, but initially I said, nah, I'm good. I was like, yo, I ain't really trying to move to Minnesota. Business is good right now. I'm speaking all over, like things were good. And they came back, they doubled back again with another offer, talked to wifey about it. And so it's like, let's see what it's about. But this is where I had to practice what I preach, right? And I thought about it. I was like, it's not always about what you can get. Sometimes it's about what you can contribute. Now, this ain't about me and what they're offering, what I'm going out there to get. This place that is experiencing so much civil and social and racial unrest, I have been given the opportunity, the blessing and the skill sets and the experience and expertise to be a solutions provider for a city and a community that's in turmoil. This isn't about what I can get. This is about what I can give. So I decided to go ahead and accept the offer. And I did that for 4 years. And at the end of last season, over the summer, is when I decided, okay, my work here is done.
Fire, bro.
I mean, I only got one,
They came back with woo. That number.
I'm be honest with you, Tru. Like, I only got really one thing to say to a story like that. I'm just being real.
You have my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
Bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
that was crazy. That was dope.
I want to ask you this because this has become an integral part of the show and our conversations about generational wealth building And how do we actually get our community to start getting back to the days of the Black Wall Streets and things of that nature, right? When we talk about success and individualism, it's different when you talk about success in a family, right? And there's a lot of studies coming out saying that the reason that we are not getting back to where we was financially, economically, as a culture is because the marriage rate of our culture is so low. It's one of the lowest of any other demographics out there, right? So you keep mentioning that, you know, you're married and things of that nature. I would like to know, like, when did you meet your significant other? Because you're clearly moving now. You're moving state to state. You're taking opportunities, but you're uprooting yourself. Uprooting yourself as a person is one thing. Uprooting yourself now when you have a significant other, you know, and having them support you and stuff like that, and then having a child is something completely different. Can you just touch on like how the impact of having a significant other has helped you in your career development and in your personal development as a Black man?
Bro, invaluable. Like real talk, invaluable. There's a so I'm a man of faith, right?
Okay.
And so there's a scripture that says, and I can't quote exactly what it is. So y'all probably like, yeah, you really ain't no man of faith. You only know.
You gotta have one in your back pocket. You gotta have.
I keep it well.
But I do know what it says. I can't tell you what it finds.
Yeah.
But it says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing.
Okay.
Bro,
Wait, finds a good thing? A good thing?
yeah.
He who finds a wife finds a good
He
thing?
who finds a wife
Okay.
finds a good thing.
Okay.
Bro, I can't tell you how true that has been for me. I'll speak for me.
Yeah, that's it. That's all we ask.
Man, we've been married 22 years.
Oh, no, hold on. Don't run. I know he's gonna run past that, but nah, I felt like you was gonna speed past that. Nah, 22, congratulations. Most relationships in our culture ain't lasting 22 days. If you last night and you woke up and she ain't what she looked like 22 hours. You ain't look like that with the disco light on. You ain't the same person I brought home last night. Where is this?
Oh man. Oh wow.
Yeah, 22 years. Congratulations, bro. That's beautiful, bro. 22 years.
I'm telling you, man, the level of support and guidance and counsel that I've received from her is really what's contributed to our collective success, man.
Right.
And that's real talk. I remember when we first met, you know, I was doing okay, make a little bit of money, right? But man, I was eating out all the time, you know, going where if I wanted to go somewhere, I was just hopping on a plane and just, man, my financial discipline was horrendous, bro. Like real talk. I was just living, I was like, yo, I'm just out here living life.
Single. He was used to being single. Yeah.
And she's saying, hey, you know, maybe, you know, you should do this. Open up this, open up a Roth, an IRA. Like I'm learning all these acronyms, right?
Yeah.
Right. And man, it's changed my life, bro. Like for real, changed my life. And you got somebody that you can really confide in and plan with, and somebody that wants. I think that the best way that I could sum this up, man, is you got somebody that wants more for you than they want from you.
There it is. I love that.
That's fire.
I love that, man.
That's real.
Oh, because I thought you was gonna hit somewhere. That's why I waited.
I was about to go to Matt.
I
thought you ready. I paused right on the drain. Like, I know you got that. That was your question. You
gotta
listen to him. You can learn something.
gotta learn something, my friend.
You gotta learn something, please, man. Listen to this guy, man.
Yo,
I'm telling you, man, that is, I tell cats all the time, man, like, bro, that if you think about a lot of the successful men in life, most of them, man, they got a solid partner, man.
That's real.
It's real.
Yeah.
And this is what our culture needs to hear, Tru. Our culture needs to hear, let's stop playing around, find somebody and build. And build, Tru, right? Fuck the superficial bullshit, the shiny shit, the temporary bullshit. Find somebody to build with. Pour into them, have them pour into you, and then see what that looks like.
It's invaluable, bro.
It's invaluable.
It'll hold you accountable, man. I mean, you out here with no account. You show me somebody that's not accountable to no one. You ain't accountable to nobody, man. I'm gonna show you somebody whose life is dysfunctional.
Boys on fire.
You know,
Boys on fire.
This motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking.
he's good.
Yes.
That's good.
Good, man. I love it, man.
Good, bro. I do want to ask you. You talking about
Yeah.
the Minnesota and the Chief Impact stuff, bro. What is one thing, bro, that you were super proud of that you don't mind sharing that you did in the community to help the organization? I'm just curious.
Man, well, one is right behind me, right? So I don't know if y'all can see this plaque of photos behind me.
Yeah.
Yep.
And right in the middle, there's a poem called "The Bridge Builder."
Okay.
Right, and so when I made the decision that I was leaving Minnesota, members of the community decided to get together to throw me a going away. And they had to do that. I mean, this members of the community from all walks of life. I'm talking people that are in corporate and other organizations, whether it's Target, US Bank, the Vikings, 3M, like all these different companies that are out there, Land O'Lakes, General Mills, right?
Right.
And people from the grassroots, We Push for Peace, gang violence organizations, you know what I mean? A Mother's Love, like, really helping the less fortunate. Like I'm talking from the corner to the corner office, right? And everybody in between. And those, man, they took the time to curate photos of me in all of these different settings, all of these different spaces, showing up, right, for our community and facilitating these conversations and dialogues that help us to all heal and reconcile and get over the pain that the city was experiencing and help us to find a path forward to restore the community, but leveraging the platform of the Timberwolves and the Lynx, to be able to do that. And they all got together, man, curated, found all of these different photos, put the poem, The Bridge Builder, right in the middle, and issued this to me as a thank you for the impact that I made in the community over those 4 years.
Fire.
Can't buy the love.
That's the Grammy right there. That right there is the impact over the metrics right
That's
there.
it. Impact over the metrics, bro.
And I'm telling you, when I look at these pictures, man, like I get emotional because it's meaning. Like I did these things, right? You do it, you move on because that's what you. But to look back at it and be like, oh wow, yeah, I remember that. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. And one of these pictures that kind of culminates that. And y'all met Philonis, it's my brother, Philonis. I met him, we were together. And, obviously his brother, George Floyd, got killed in Minnesota. And that's how Philonis and I met, because I was doing a lot of work in the community. And, a lot of it was the catalyst for that was his brother's death, right? And so once I got a chance to meet Philonis and his nephew, him and George's nephew, Brandon, man, we clicked. We clicked. We just clicked right out the gate. And so working with them, doing stuff with them, man, just like in the trenches, right? Like, yo, we in this together. Like they became my family, I became their family. So year or two later, they get an invitation from President Biden to come to the White House. Because I don't know if y'all remember the George Floyd Act was on the floor and it didn't get past the Senate. Right. And so Biden said, well, you know what? I'm going to sign an executive order. I'm going to sign this into law. And so he wanted the family to be there when he signed the executive order. Man, I got a call from Philonis and Brandon, man. I remember sitting in my desk, get the call from Philonis and Brandon and them saying, hey, Tru, we've been invited to the White House. President's going to sign the George Floyd Act into an executive order and he wants the family to be there. And I was like, yo, that's dope, man. Congratulations. We put in a lot of work, man, blah, blah, blah. And they was like, yo, man, and we want you to stand alongside us because we view you as family, bro.
There it is.
One of those pictures is me, Brandon, and Philonis and Ben Crump at the White House the day that Biden signed that executive order.
Come on, man. There it is.
Come on, bro.
Legacy, man. There it is.
That's the things, man, that I'm most proud of for the work that I was blessed to be able to do when I was in Minnesota.
That work will supersede you.
I mean, that's the hope, right?
Yeah. And that's what we do it for, Tru. For our work, for our impact to supersede us. That's how your name lives on. That's how your legacy helps to live on, right? The impact that you have done will supersede you. It has changed people's lives. It will help them live better lives and help them go on to do great things themselves. And this is how we get better, right? Generationally, because it's not going to happen overnight.
No.
But with guys like you putting in the work, at least we have a great starting point. At least the wheels are turning, right? So I just want to say thank you, bro. I didn't even know that, but you know, I want to say thank you as a black man with 2 young black sons, and my cousin has 2 young black sons, so we are fathers.
Absolutely.
Thank you, because we need more brothers to be selfless, right? Selfless and say, I'm going to take up the mantle. I'm going to do the good work. You don't have to do it forever, but at least you can say, I did something, right? A lot of people can't say they did anything, but you can say, I did something, right? And that's all we ask. Do something.
And when you do it for the right reasons, look what happens.
Right.
You saw a problem in the community that's going to affect all of us, right? And I'm going to go there, build a relationship. Like you said, building the bridge, right? So I'm glad you said that whole story, because I was always thinking, like, why did you choose that? And if you to tell that story, bro, and how you talk working with the police and then getting that opportunity. And we just spoke to bro earlier today. He's coming on the show the 19th.
So he's
coming on the show tonight. Literally just had like a half an hour conversation, bro. Shout out to everybody,
good dude, man.
Too. I'm sorry, we not hitting everybody up. Shout out to Haitian CEO, Cheese, Miss Fever, Moshe, Lee, Tasha, Cat Raquel. Sorry, y'all, I'm sitting there on the conversation. Tru been going off.
Shout out.
I can't see y'all, but shout out to everybody.
I forgot about the chat. Wait, Gary,
it's a lot of people chatting saying that you speaking the truth, and you know they're championing what you're saying, man. This conversation is impacting people in real time right now. Go ahead, Cuzzo.
Hey, can you ask somebody in the chat to find out? Because I think y'all really my credibility is at stake. Can y'all ask somebody to find out that he who finds a wife finds a good thing is a real
Hayes, where the fuck are you at, Hayes? Hayes, we have a resident in-house fact checker. I call him Strawberry. He hates that shit. Hayes, where the fuck you at, Hayes? You should have been on this shit, goddamn it.
This is your time to shine, bro. Come on.
They're like Tru up here making stuff up.
I know a lot of people after this interview are gonna want to get in contact with you. They're gonna want to do research on your company and things of that nature. Where can people find information about your company and or get in contact with you if they want to reach out to you?
Yeah, the website is tru-access.com, and that's tru-access.com. Tru-access.com, and they can find me on Instagram or TikTok at Tru Access, right? TRUACCESS, and then LinkedIn, Tru Pettigrew, my name, TRUPETTIGREW.
And you know what we say, ladies and gentlemen, with any of our guests, if you're gonna reach out, we implore you, treat our guests with respect. They're coming on, they're giving their stories, right? They're being vulnerable, they're willing to help, but treat them with respect, respect their time, respect the fact that they have families and things of that nature. So if you're gonna approach them in any way, please be respectful, right? Please be respectful. That way we can continue to have guests openly come on and try to provide these resources that we always complain that we don't have, right? So that's that. So Tru, before we go, Tru, go ahead. I got
we said we was gonna ask you this, bro. Your name, the story of your name.
Yeah.
No, man. So I used to apparently when I was young, right? I they had those kids that just kind of gravitate more to the those male kids that gravitate more to women than they do men. I guess I was that kid, right? And so I kind of got the nickname little baby True Love, and so
Savage! I'm a savage!
Listen, man, I love it. But Tru, this is more than the title, so we covered a bunch of things, and we appreciate you. We appreciate you coming on, but this would not be a show. It wouldn't be our show if we didn't hold you accountable. You said you do music. Me and Cuzzo do music. When you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. You know what I'm saying? I just want to know if you got 16 on it.
You got bars right now?
You got bars right now. Pettigrew is coming back, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I was ready to go. Come on now. You stay
We ready to go. Let's go.
I was ready to go in.
You know what I'm saying? Don't stop playing with Tru.
Listen, man. We love this episode, man. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another phenomenal episode of More Than the Title. We want to thank our esteemed guest, Tru Pettigrew, again, for being a man of his word, for coming on the show, being vulnerable, sharing his story, and again, giving you insight on just another way of what success can look like, right? What success can look like conventionally and non-conventionally. And one of the key takeaways that I got from this was his ability to not be afraid to take chances.
Bet on himself.
And bet on himself, which you know is our moniker. So if you buy a t-shirt or a hoodie, you know, you could get it on the back and it can say bet on yourself. And we got the shirts that say bet on yourself on the front, which is the sweaters.
Yeah, come on, man.
We got to pay some bills. We'll be right back.
If you're going to talk about it, you might as well put it up. If you're going to talk about it, you know it is Christmas. You know what? We got large, XL, small, mediums, everything. You got a
medium guard.
I'm saying,
you know what it is.
We might have to make it happen. But Tru, real talk, man. We vibe with you, brother. This is the first of many conversations, brother.
Yeah.
And just like we invite everybody, bro, on our show, welcome to the family. So if there's anybody we're speaking to, past, in the future, present, anything we could do to help you, you know, grow, brother. This is what it's about, man. We don't gatekeep. We don't do none of that. We want to see each other win, man. So we appreciate you coming on the show, sharing your story, man, being truthful, being real, man. And there's a lot, it resonates, bro. You know what I mean? Because I think Cuzzo could agree too. We see ourselves in you, pause. So, you know what I mean? That's definitely pause. Like we come from similar stories, similar backgrounds. That was pause. I said pause.
It's the end of the show. We ain't get one on show.
I know. That was nuts.
He said penetrate a couple times before that. And I let him say, he kept saying penetrate the industry. I ain't like it, but I let it slide. But
that ain't my word.
Penetrate like three, penetrate the industry and penetrate. You said it, I let you rock. We needed one for the YouTube. We needed one.
Yeah, I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad. True. I ain't mad at it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. It's been another episode of More Than the Title. Again, this man came on the show and showed you his hustle. He showed you his mentality. He showed you his mindset. He got up, he went, he chased his dream. He did what he had to do to make it a reality for himself and then eventually make it a reality for his family, which reinforces how we end the show every single fucking time. The dream is free.
But the hustle is so separately, y'all. We gonna see y'all Thursday. We out of here.
What you know about me?